Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's get started. All right, so today we're going to be going over Bluebeam and specifically the toolbox and how that can make your lives a lot easier in doing markups, doing as building. You can also make sure that a lot of your stuff is consistent across all your drawings, that you can get a lot of counts and quantities from this with just very little effort. And a lot of the stuff is going to be kind of pre-set up for you already. I'm going to go over a few toolboxes that we have available to you right now, and then a couple more that we're going to be generating in the next month or so that it could make your job a little bit easier. So to begin, on the right-hand side, or sorry, the left-hand side of Bluebeam, you guys should have all these little thumbnails here that all have different pretty much tools and tasks. So right here, this little toolbox, this is your tool chest. And what this contains is a bunch of pre-made individual markups that have different functions, features, and information attached to them already. A couple of things to notice from the top is you can search through all your tools here. So if they have specific names, such as if you hover over them, such as light, you'll be able just to search light and we'll find anything that has that informational name to it. If you see here, you can see there's headers across each individual toolbox with different tools inside of it. You can collapse them. You can also change their settings. Mostly it's just what you would see is you'd be able to change it to a detail view. So it kind of gives you more of a list rather than a table. And then I'll show you a couple more settings from here afterwards. And then additionally, you can also pin to a different area up top here or on here. But generally your toolbox is here. This is where I keep it. Lastly is how to maintain the toolbox. So each individual one of these, you can load up as many of these toolboxes as you would want. You can also turn them on and off. So if you click the little arrow down next to Toolchest here, you'll be able to look at all the toolboxes you have loaded and turn them on and off willingly and when you want them to be. Additionally, you can also manage tool chest sets. So if you look in here, this is where you can add different toolboxes. That toolbox that I set or sent out in the email, if you just double click any one of those tool sets, you should be able to just open it up and it will be imported into your tool chest here. So what I'm going to do is I can actually delete one of these. So the markups tool here, if you click on it, you can either edit the toolbox or you can delete it and then you can add a new one. But if you just delete the toolbox and you go to that email I sent or with the markup, right here, if you just double click the toolbox and open it in Bluebeam, tool set already exists. Would you like to overwrite it? Yes. It's going to pop up here on your tool sets ready to go. Generally, the one I sent is just going to be a one you can play around with, but let's get into the functionality of it. If you ever have to also edit the settings of the tool chest, you can change them there, but this is more in-depth stuff. So the tool chest. So inside each one of them, Derek Monroe from Estimating has created a pretty large category one. I created one for basic prefab functionality. And then we're going to be making some for our field markups and record drawings, as well as different types of, sorry, 1 second. And then different types of markups that will help you take off drawings, plan out your work, be able to communicate with the BIM team a little bit easier as well. So we'll go into that. So the first thing is like if we were going to start marking up a drawing and just doing some counts, you can easily go through and then just highlight different areas of the plan. Let's go to actually a power plan. Or let's do panels. I could easily just go over here and say I wanted to mark up all my panels. Just choose a circle and just start copying and pasting this around. And what this does is just provides you a visual markup for it, as well as it generates a markup list here. As you can see, all it's saying is like there's just an ellipse here, who it is, what label. This is all the basic functionality of markups. And what tools in the tool chest do actually make it a lot easier to perform that task and keep it a lot more organized. And that's why it's beneficial to use these. So as you can see here, we have lights popped up here, a 2x2 emergency light. We also have different lighting controls here, as well as prefab items. So I know that I have a panel board. I click this little tool here. You can see it popped up with a little triangle. And I'm just going to click on all my panel boards that are going to be new. And this is going to be for a prefab takeoff of all the prefab panels, or all the panels that I would like to do prefab. We're going to do here, 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 here. We're not going to do this one for the time being. Then once I hit enter, as you can see, the name is a little bit different. It will say panel board because that's what the markup is actually called and detailed, as well as the amount counts. It's also on its own certain layer here. So if I wanted to turn on and off the panel board layer, I can turn off just those specific markups. If we wanted to go through and maybe count some receptacles, I know that there's none on this page, but I know that there's probably going to be like one here, one here, one here, one here. I hit enter. You can see now I have 8 duplex receptacles. And then it's also on the in-wall layer, along with the color and the count. So if I can just turn off the in-wall, you'll see that that markup goes away, and I can just turn off the panel board. So this keeps all your markups nice and organized between layers, as well as it gives you a total list and count. So if I went to another drawing, and I wanted to start picking up some of the panels on this drawing too, and then some of the duplex receptacles on this drawing. You can see it's starting to break out the different different pages and how many of the total that we have for each one. So it's going to give you a full count on each floor. And then the additional thing is you can organize this table any way you want. So if you want to organize it by page, or if you want to organize it by subject, this will give you your totals across all the pages you mark up. So for instance, the duplex, there's 2 pages of instances here. There is 8 on one page, 4 on the other page. You can see what page it's on, and then the total count of 12. Additionally, with panel boards, I have 19 marked up right now. And what this allows you to do is you can actually export out this list as a summary in a PDF format. It has all these outputs. I believe if you just hit OK, it'll generate a general report for you that's more to your liking of how many duplex on each page, how many panel boards. And this could be your prefab takeoff right there. Like with almost no work, you're just clicking the button to count the ones that you would want. Additionally, you can just export this out as a CSV file so that you can actually use it to do counts and takeoffs as well for all your duplex, and then start to maybe break down what the duplex needs to be. Any questions on general use and how the markup works? No? Okay, cool. So lastly, what we're going to talk about is a little bit of the consistency across it. So the idea is that if we start using, or everyone keeps using the same toolboxes, that all our drawings are going to start looking very similar to each other. That people who are moving across projects, or as we grow and develop, the drawings are going to look the same, the markups are going to be the same, and our jobs are going to get a lot smoother because we are all kind of using the same data and processes. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be developing all these little toolboxes for different departments that might help out their job. So for instance, JB from our team has developed a line weight. So what we're going to do here is he's developed a polyline for, let's say, conduit and power. So if I drew this conduit here, it's going to automatically come in blue, which is the system color that we've kind of designated in BIM for us. It will also give us like the overall length, I believe, of it for power. And then at the top, we can change the line type to, let's say, a 4-inch conduit. So now that conduit itself is labeled as 4-inch. Our team knows that it is. It's also on the power layer. So I can turn on and off this conduit itself, as well as, let's say I wanted to do emergency power on that same rack. It's now pretty simple for me to generate a conceptual idea of how I want my rack to be, what systems need to be on that rack. And then also I can sort it by power. I can also sort it by different type of markup. So the idea is that we're going to put in a lot of back work here for you guys that will make your jobs a little bit easier. If you have any recommendations or something that you would want to see in the toolbox, let us know. We can develop for you. You can also go and make your own individual tools. That's going to be like a more in-depth presentation and probably a more specialized one. So if anyone wants to do that, just let me know, and I can walk you through how to do it. Is there any questions about the toolbox?
Can you share your tools, Corey? Can you give us what you have on your
Yep.
sheet?
Yep. So what's going to end up happening is in Procore, I'm going to develop a little area. So everyone should have access to this in the main profile of P&H, the main portfolio here. If you
Yep.
go to the Documents tool, I'm going to create a folder here for Bluebeam tool sets somewhere in this folder here, and you'll be able to download it right there and choose
Awesome.
whichever tool set that you would want. So once we start to like develop these and to QC them to make sure that they're working properly, I will roll them out and then email you guys that they're available for use. More or less, I can initially start with all the estimate ones because these ones are pretty well developed. This is what you'll get from an estimate set from Derek as it is. But these are
Nice.
very, very well developed for the time being. So,
Cool. Thank you.
yep. Any other questions? Yep. That's about Isaac.
Yeah, so say I have a set of prints that you guys designed, and then in the field I've made changes due to, R5s and stuff like that.
Yep.
Is there a way of changing your original prints and kind of deleting what you guys had on it originally, and then kind of showing what we did in the field instead?
Yeah, so good question. So if we're talking about like let's say record drawings, I want to look at where is it? I don't think I have the one up. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna pull up one that we did. So this is one that Tom Leone did for us out in the field. And what I was requesting is when we get the as-builts here, it's really kind of difficult to understand what you guys did in the field with just basic markups. So we're actually developing that toolbox here. This one that's called markups right now. This will be record drawing markups. And as you can see here, what I told Tom to do for a lot of this stuff is don't try to delete anything. It's more or less just try to overwrite it so that you can always just turn off the markup so that we can see what it was before you changed it. Because a lot of times when we get like these markups, we just get some like scribbles here that we don't really like know how it's supposed to be or like what the idea is. But this where you just overwrite it with text or with notes or even just if you're trying to X something out, we're making just this X here that scales with the drawing. So you can just do this over and over and say, oh, we deleted that light, deleted this light. Same thing with notes. We're trying to do a red note where you can just type in what has changed as well as what has been added so that it makes sense to everyone what has been added, what has been deleted, and anything for like if you want to draw like system lines on how you did your conduit. A lot of this stuff is going to be hopefully pre-populated for you. And if you have anything that's missing, we can add it to the toolbox and make it better over time. But we're going to start with some basic functionality so that you know that you can check it to be done. And then again, it's also, these are all on layers so that your team out here can actually just check and turn off different layers as you're working. And this all works within the Procore environment if you download the drive. So you can actually open up PDFs from the drive here, mark them up, and then save them. So I can actually go into, let's go into the test sandbox. So if I just did this first 4-dimensional plan here, and I opened it up, it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to make a new version of this? Generally, your first time you're going to do no. And I'm going to mark up this drawing with some of my comments here. My scale should be 1/8. And we're just going to toss a couple there. And let's do one more here. I'm just going to hit save on this. And immediately it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to make a new version of that document on Procore? I can hit submit. It's going to update that version. And now if I close out this document and you go back into Procore, or anyone goes into Procore and opens up this specific drawing, it's going to have the markups saved there. So there's no need to download from Procore, save it to your desktop, mark it up, and then re-upload it. You can work directly out of the drive here for those tools. And it makes it a lot easier. Additionally, sessions. That was one way that someone did it for their record drawings, and it works really well. The only problem is that sessions do not have layers. You can't add layers to sessions. So it kind of defeats a little bit of the functionality, but it's still a good way that everyone can work on the same drawing set and mark it up at the same time. Sorry if that was a very long-winded answer, but hopefully I answered it for you, Isaac.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good question. Any other questions? Any other questions about Bluebeam while we're here? Okay, cool. So what I'll do is as soon as all these toolboxes and tool chests are developed for you guys, I'll start sending out emails that they're available for you. And please just start showing other people this, because once people start understanding how it works and how easy it is, it'll catch on pretty quickly. So thanks for attending, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.
Thank you, Corey.
Thanks.